As I said, our sermon, a little earlier I said that our sermon is a kind of a joint sermon, and so Kay and I are going to share your voices with the rest of the congregation. And as you listen to the scripture, you realize we find ourselves on the road to Emmaus with the disciples. And like the disciples, we are keeping apart from the rest of the world. We, like them, are a bit fearful, a bit cautious, and yet we're working hard to make meaning in our days and weeks, to make sense of everything. So on the road to Emmaus, two disciples meet a man who doesn't seem to have a clue about what's been going on in the world. So they go over everything with him. How they miss their friends, their sense of loss and grief, their isolation, and now, just now, how they're just trying to get to where they're supposed to be. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? Earlier this month, the folks who responded to how we're all coping with what essentially is a self-quarantine, and like I said, we received a few responses with over 9,000 words, and it was a challenge to work it all into something I could share with us in a sermon and not go on and on. But I was also heartened to see the creativity with which everyone has approached these last week. So as we listen, let's imagine that we are all walking side by side on the road, sharing our woes, our joys, and encouraging each other on the way.
One of the most important takeaways from this experience is how much I cherish and appreciate my family. There are crazy-making moments, but I know I am so fortunate to have my family with me. I can't imagine what it would be like here without them. I am so thankful. They are loving and all the home cooking. The shopping's stressful, making sure I go the correct way in the store, wiping everything down, and making sure I have enough milk. I have to say, I am really looking forward to being able to go out to a restaurant to eat.
I have never in my life been so fearful of getting sick. But that being said, like others, our regular schedules have been altered significantly. No work, no home, no work or we're working at home. No church on Sundays, at least not going to church. No choirs, no meetings, limited shopping. I miss the music, the playing and the fellowship of it. I miss the interaction with the other employees and the customers at work. And we miss our adult children and worry about them, of course.
If there are meetings, they are online, which means no traveling. On the plus side, we are spending more time with the boys. It's been nice to eat a leisurely dinner because we aren't running out to meetings or rehearsals. Playing on the floor, working on projects, or sitting on the couch watching superheroes. Then give the kids a bath and put them to bed. Eli misses not going to church. He asks on a daily basis if we are going to church. He seems to miss the music. We will start singing Glory Be to the Father at various times, and he sang this morning while we were getting dressed. The future, probably for a year more, will look much different. Face masks. When will I see your face again? It will be tough to try to worship together and keep it at least 6 feet apart. Overall, I think this situation has made us appreciate a lot of things that we used to take for granted. Who knew toilet paper would be a luxury? Thank you for the opportunity to share. I have and continue to experience fear. Fear for myself, fear for family, fear for our communities, fear for relaxing social distancing. As a nurse, I had been feeling frightened, selfish, and guilty for not wanting to jump into the front lines. Yet through all my fear, I have felt love, kindness, and hope. This love kindness, and hope has been at home, work, and in the community. We have a lot of support through work, by phone, or online.
I have been thrilled to be able to access the church services online. I have found much comfort during this time of worship. Easter was definitely an emotional challenge, since I would usually be sharing this time with my family. It was a beautiful day for me, in part due to the Maundy Thursday and Easter services, including communion on Zoom. Thanks for making Easter special. And here's a positive note. At Yale New Haven, when a COVID-19 patient is discharged, they play the song Rise Up. It's a very moving experience, and it causes us to pause and to celebrate. And when I'm out in the community, I notice some fearfulness too, and I saw that no one would really look at other people. So I started saying good morning from a distance, and people were surprised, but then smiled when they responded. My hope is that when we are able to be friendly and social even at a distance.
My hope for life after COVID-19 is that we continue to appreciate our small moments with our family, friends, and communities. I hope that we continue to slow down and give each other space, although not necessarily 6 feet apart. I hope that we remember how flexible we were to provide for each other and keep some of these successful changes. I hope that we remember the love and kindnesses that we have shared, continuing to be people who need people.
Many shared these feelings and thoughts. A feeling of isolation from family or friends, fear of going anywhere, fear about social touching, hugging, that may be gone forever, including passing the peace in church. They ask questions like, when is this virus going to be over? When will we learn about the virus and how to avoid it? When will a vaccine arrive? When will we know if we can get reinfected? When can we be spontaneous again?
No more Jim concerned about getting out of shape. Regular doctor appointments have been canceled, working to avoid depression. How are we compensating? FaceTime, virtual visits with family rather than in person, frequent telephone calls and Zoom meetings, food deliveries as opposed to shopping, take-out food as opposed to eating in restaurants, video appointments with doctors.
Keeping busy has helped. By cleaning out my junk storage room, the containers held 60 years of memorable items. Routine helps, but motivation to do chores lags behind due to the lack of meetings and appointments that's helped me stay on a routine. I find it amazing what you can do in 30 minutes before leaving for a meeting, so it has been hard to keep a tidy house.
Because I'm keeping busy, I find it surprising I have been feeling very lonely at times. What has been joyful has been time for meditation. What I am doing now I'd like to continue once we are freed up is meditation, cleaning out excess possessions. It will remain to be seen how we interact once this is passed, as I feel the shift to normal may never be as before. Will we hug and embrace as before? Maybe yes, some will. But I ask, what scares will we all carry with us?
A sense of normalcy is really important when life is topsy-turvy. We're trying to maintain a regular schedule as possible, getting up, showering, eating, taking the dogs for walks. What has been most stabilizing for us is a sense of still and always being the church. No, the church is not a building, but it helps on Sundays, seeing Sue and Kay in the sanctuary, hearing Mike on the organ, knowing Brian is in the background filming, reading and singing, especially over Holy Week. It has been good to listen and sing and breathe and know we are connected. Balance is another way of maintaining normalcy. Each day I try to do something in each of 3 areas. Something for our home, something in the way of outreach to family or friends, or sewing masks for donations, and something for myself.
Connecting is vital. I have a new appreciation for electronics available to us these days. I have learned how to read to our grandson every day on Google Hangouts. I appreciate all people in medical offices who are struggling to keep connected with patients by telehealth visits. And when we do get out, it is heartwarming to see chalk paintings in driveways, hearts on mailboxes, and kids waving from their driveways. We really are all in this together. What has been hard is not being able to see my granddaughters. I miss them so much. I also worry about my students. Are they eating? Are they alone because their parents have to work? Are they safe? I'm not used to sitting during the day and having no one to interact with. I realize that I like having a routine. I've also noticed that there are so many wonderful people in this world. So many have stepped up to help. Food donations, teachers, businesses, etc. Very heartwarming.
I'm joyful about our family dinners. We all used to come home at such different times that dinner was erratic. So I made it a point to make sure we have dinner together. Electronics off and music on. We talk about our day, and this is something I will continue. And when this is over, I'm going to make it a point of getting together with my friends more often. I've really missed church and the fellowship. I want to become more involved.
I am amazed at the ways people are finding creative ways to survive. I keep active,
Physically, it should be physically. I didn't.
It's Brian. Physically riding bicycle and taking long walks. I've been cleaning up the garage. I put away my snowblower, so of course it will snow now. Though I'm watching too much TV and videos, I started a new online business. Having my spouse home with me 24/7 is a joy. We connected more than ever and share in each other's experiences and daily accomplishments.
When I started writing the genealogical timeline to go along with our family history, I used this quote from Judy Jacobson. The full effect of a single historical event is not always obvious. The bubonic plague changed the world forever. This was true for some of my ancestors who died in the yellow fever epidemic in 1794 and in the 1918 flu epidemic. It turns out there have been other epidemics. And when I started our family timeline in September 2019, little did I know what was to come. It is now April of 2020, and in an eerie coincidence, the entire world is now experiencing a pandemic.
It may affect us differently from others as we are retired and relatively self-sufficient. We all have health issues, though, so we are very careful. I worry about my mom because she loves to shop. Quarantine is hard for her. The hardest part of life right now is not interacting with our daughter and her family, except by phone. We're just figuring out the video aspect. We live a rural life, so we are pretty self-sufficient. I don't miss having to go shopping. This is what I was writing as a reflection before I saw your invitation to send thoughts.
Pretty soon everyone was told to wear a face mask when going out where other people would be. Grocery stores had bare shelves. Toilet paper, of all things, was most critically hoarded. But eggs, canned vegetables, and other paper goods, and most importantly, hand sanitizer and household cleaning products weren't far behind. Stores started rationing the sales of these things. But then good things started happening. Some people started being nicer to others. People were together alone. In the USA, in residential neighborhoods, people are displaying teddy bears in their windows so that others with their children can walk or drive by and go bear hunting. Then it was colored Easter eggs in windows and more. And the Earth's atmosphere started cleaning up a bit.
On a lighter note, and with all the problems other people have, it's almost dumb to list this. I miss getting a haircut. Long hair, so what if it grows another inch?
Yeah.
Short hair, even half an inch puts it out of style. And I think I'm about as shaggy as it gets right now. I am at the point of asking Mom if she'll take a whack at it pretty soon. I think I was maybe 12 the last time she cut my hair.
My routine is pretty much unchanged. I'm still going to work delivering packages for FedEx. I don't have to handle the packages, so there's not much of a chance that I could catch anything from them. It's actually been much easier to drive to and from work also, because there's much less traffic. My biggest exposure is going to the store. But what really bothers me is not being able to see my grandkids at this time. And actually, I think that we may have caught the virus from another family member back in January. 2 of our family were quite sick, and 1 was only minimally ill. Too bad we weren't well informed about this virus back in January.
I think I miss what is obvious, not being able to hug someone, go to movies, and eat at restaurants, learning to better communicate with a spouse who is now at home more often, sadness of not being with my grandchildren on a weekly basis, sensing my mortality when my age group is so vulnerable. Through all this, I have become more fearful. When this is past, because I've had now to be more reserved with relationships, I feel it will take some time for me to get back to my relaxed self. It may take a while to be happy and content and not always be looking over my shoulder. On the plus side, with much more free time, I have been reading and knitting more and going out for walks.
There has certainly been more family time, and we are fortunate to have what we need. Helen seems to be adjusting well, more helpful, relaxed, and pleasant. And when I manage to get her to wash her hands well, she rubs the soapy hands, and I say, inside, outside, upside, downside, top, bottom, round, and then we rinse. Knowing how much worse the suffering is in other places keeps me centered on getting by. I'm awestruck at the actual toll this has taken and will take in total on people. I have been trying to help, but I feel I'm not able to do enough. It's hard to imagine the cost, all the needs to be met. I do think I am finding more good than bad, and I feel blessed. And the final sentence in this reflection is, we will all get through this thing together. We will get through all of this together. And if you haven't had a chance to share your thoughts, but you would like to, please send them to me. I have actually kept all these reflections and all the words that were taken out in a file. So perhaps this could be a little piece that goes into some of our church history as we go day by day, together, apart, and we hope for the future, because as the disciples discovered that Jesus walks with us no matter where we are, and he is definitely walking with us and holding our hands on this road to Emmaus. So we will get through all of this together.